One of the most common questions I get is, can you use the stock market to make passive income? Well, the answer is absolutely yes. I've had plenty of real estate in my life, and you can certainly make income from real estate. But in this video, I'm going to show you how you can use covered calls for passive income. Use covered calls to create that income from the stock market. Here we go. Okay, this is a big question for me, and especially comes from a lot of people that are new to it. I help 7- and 8-figure investors play offense and defense with their money. And one of the things that most people who have amassed some wealth want to do is they want to continue to create more and more passive income. It's not all about exchanging your time for money. It's about creating passive income in your life so you don't have to work for that money. You can let the money just come in. And a lot of people think that real estate is like the only passive income you can get. But there's lots of passive income, right? You can get income from creating an Amazon store, or writing a song or a game, writing a book and selling it, and all that comes in after you create that intellectual property. I've been doing the stock market for 4 decades, and one of my mentors was Edward Thorpe, and Edward Thorpe showed me a system about how to create passive income or income from the stock market. We can argue whether it's passive or not, but it doesn't take very much time to implement this system. Maybe I tell people about 20 minutes a week or maybe an hour or 2 a month. It's a system that uses covered calls for passive income. And the way that happens is you use your asset, which is the stock, and you sell calls against that stock, and you create passive income from those calls, just covered calls for passive income. So what I've done is, if you don't understand covered calls, I've created this little animation. It's about 2 minutes long, and it's going to show you how covered calls work using real estate as an analogy. If you do understand how it works, you may want to watch this 2-minute video for review, or you may want to skip forward 2 minutes and just hear me talk a little bit about covered calls for passive income. So take a look at that video or skip forward, and I'll see you here right after the video.
So here's a guy named Jim, the guy with the red tie here, and he owns some land. Let's call it a city block, and it's worth about $100,000. Then there is Bob, this guy with the red hair and the beard, and he sees this lot is for sale, and he hears that a big hotel is going up right across the street from that land. So he thinks that that land could be worth maybe $200,000, not just $100,000. But the problem is, he doesn't have $100,000 to buy it. He's kind of broke, but he sees this big opportunity there. What he does is he approaches Jim and he says, "I'll pay you $10,000 if you'll sell me your property anytime in the next 6 months for your asking price of $100,000. Jim says, "Wait a minute, if I sell you my property for the same price I want to sell it for now, but the only difference is you're going to pay me $10,000 to take it off the market and give you a chance to buy it anytime in the next 6 months, and I get to keep the $10,000? And Bob says, "Yeah, that's what I'm offering." So they shake hands and they make a deal. So, who has the risk here? Well, looking at Bob, he could lose his full $10,000 if he's wrong. Now, if he's right, he hits a home run. Okay, now Jim, his deal is he gets to keep the $10,000 no matter what. It goes right into his wallet, and if Bob exercises his option, Jim also sells his lot for the asking price that he wanted. He gets his $100,000 too. So Jim in this case has a relatively low risk. Make sense? A week later, Bob finds out that it was just a rumor, and this hotel is not going up, and it's not going to make that property worth $200,000. And Jim still has a piece of property that's worth $100,000. Nothing's changed on his side. Let's analyze the positions. Jim still owns the lot, and he got a $10,000 bonus or a 10% return. He also reduced his cost, he reduced his risk. That's another way to look at it. Bob, on the other hand, got unlucky. He invested his $10,000 and he lost all of it, so he was really unlucky. In this case, Jim basically just collected rent from Bob on his property. So over time, I would ask you this: who would you rather be? Would you rather be Jim, that has the lot, or would you rather be Bob, that you know was swinging for the fences, but he lost it all? Well, that's an easy one. You want to be like Jim. You want to be the guy that doesn't take the huge risk. Now, can we be Jim in the stock market? Well, you better believe it. And if you've ever played Monopoly, it has a couple of places on the board. Boardwalk and park places are the most expensive properties on the board. But if you own any properties on the board, anytime somebody lands on them, they have to pay you rent every time they go around the board. So there's always a Bob out there, there's always a gambler out there that's willing to pay you rent. And if you're Jim, you could take money from all the Bobs over and over and over again, all year long. And that's what we want to do. We want to start collecting rent.
So what'd you think? Pretty cool, right? So now the question is, how do we create covered calls for passive income? And first of all, you have to own a stock. And I have videos available on this channel, on my YouTube channel, Rumble channel. And if you have a stock, then now you can use it as your asset, your base, we call it, right? It's like owning an apartment complex. You have that as your asset. You're not going to be checking it every day in Zillow to see if it's going up or down in value. You're just going to collect the rent from it. So let's say that you want to own some Tesla, or maybe you already own Tesla. Let's assume you already own it because you like the stock. You've done your analysis. You know you want to be in this stock for a while. And now you want to hold it and you want to create income on it. You buy that Tesla, you put it in your account. You have an account approved for options. And what you do, instead of buying options, which are very risky, you sell options to the risk taker, right? This is the beautiful thing about this program, is that we sell options to the risk taker. That option risk taker is the person that allows us to sell covered calls for passive income. And so when he gives us the money, we're selling the covered calls, right? When we sell something, we create income from it. So as you give somebody the right to buy your stock at a predetermined price before a predetermined date, you are making income. If you do that over and over again, 12 times a year, or 50 times a year if you do these weekly, you can make a lot of money because these things expire every so often. They expire every week, they expire every month, whatever your expiration date is. And if you have this gambler out there that's willing to pay you money to be able to have the option to take your stock away from you, you can create huge amounts of passive income. Now, you can do it really conservatively. You can do it on a more risky scale, but this is an inherently conservative strategy because you're basically limiting the upside. Remember, this is covered calls for passive income. It's not covered calls to make a ton of money, right? There's a difference. And so we're not going for capital gains here. We're going for income. The income helps you play defense. You're getting income from the covered calls. That income from the covered calls helps you play defense. It lowers the price that you're in Tesla at, right? It keeps chipping away at the price of your basis. And as it does that, you're also bringing in income. So it's a really cool strategy. Now, there's systems that we've built around it at a program that I have called the Cash Flow Machine. You need to know that it's not just writing a covered call that's going to make you the money. It's the system around it. In any investing you do, have a system. Please, please, please have a system, because anybody can click a mouse and invest $100, $200, $300,000. Anybody. But that's the easy part. What happens is the mental part right after you buy that. What happens if the market goes down? What happens if the market goes up? Can you make money if the market's going down? The answer is yes, but you have to have a system around it, right? And can you make a lot of money long-term in this program? The answer again is yes, but you have to have a system around it. So I hope that helps you get an understanding that you can make income using covered calls. So covered calls for passive income is something that's pretty easy if you put your mind to it, if you have a system around it, if you understand how it works, and if you let the gambler pay you for that passive income. You can go find lots of free YouTube videos, but don't invest your money based on lots of free YouTube videos, right? Invest in something that has a system. Hey, it's Mark Yegge, and I want to tell you about our Cash Flow Machine trading program that's designed to teach you how to make safe, reliable income. Now, we shoot for about 2 to 4% a month of income and growth in your portfolio. We have courses that teach you how to do this for yourself or inside a mastermind community. And the best part is that it takes just 20 minutes a week to implement. Now, while 2 to 4% a month doesn't sound like much, I show you exactly how we took my IRA account from $111,000 to over $500,000 in just 19 months without huge risk. Now, I'm not telling you this to brag, only so that you can do it too. If you want to get involved in this program, just click on the link below for the Cash Flow Machine and you can start right away.